Hello, and welcome to my reflections on day 75. The chapter of the Tao today says many things. It talks about taxes and rules and structure, but actually, what do I read into all the things that I've looked at and read about the Tao in terms of how it talks today? Ultimately, less is more, and more is less. As a phrase that I've used for many years when I've been coaching, is that the control that you want normally is inversely proportional to the control that you get in your life. So actually, the harder you strive to create rules and structure and things, very often actually people rebel against it. They don't want it. And so therefore then what traditionally then happens is that you get the opposite. So less is more. By being gentle, by being yourself, by simply having a sense of patience, that actually most people, unless you choose to believe that they don't, but most people actually they're okay, and that very often it is overt control that causes people to kick back against the world or the structure and the system. I'm really lucky. I've just spent the last couple of days hanging out with a whole host of teenagers, and you know, one of my things that I do, I'm a scout leader, and I'm always amazed at the other people sometimes that I hang out with or have hung out with over the years, not so much at all this weekend, but they put down lots of rules and they say that they're young people and this is how they should behave and so on and so forth. Well, actually, do you know what? They know how to behave. They've been really good. They are amazing. And most people will, if you give them the opportunity, do the best they can with what they've got. And they understand how to do that. Tao talks about the fact that when we are overtaxed financially, then we end up in a place of austerity. And so as soon as what we've seen in society as austerity has occurred is people nicking, they let off church roofs and cables alongside railway lines to be able to make ends meet. Now, some people clearly have exploited the situations, or other people have done it because they've needed to, because they've not known how else really to make ends meet. And so whilst they have been physical measures, that very often it's the same with emotional and spiritual measures. As we give people the opportunity to be the best version of themselves they can do, then actually they recognise so many times that the society that we live in is all about the we and not the me, and to be gentle with it. And so I don't know, my challenge to you, wherever you are, I'm always conscious that some of the things that I talk about on these videos, maybe for some of the people that watch them, as they choose to watch them, maybe a stretch too far. And some of the stuff, the Tao is a different way of thinking. I've definitely learnt that. In the last 75 days, there's a very different way of thinking and being. I think the one thing that this whole video blogging process has taught me is to be quite overt, is to be out there loud and proud about some of your ideas and explore some of your ideas. And I'm sure that, for those of you that decide to try and, follow my background or work out where I've come from or whatever it is that you choose to do, you'll know that I've come from a place of rules. But actually, I've also come from a place of allowing people to be the best version of themselves that they can be. And so I genuinely think less is more. And that not only has been the rule for the day, but it has been the mantra for today. And it has been a really cool thing to see that, because at times when we place fewer and fewer rules on people, Actually, they just get to be the best version of themselves. You give them the opportunity to be the best version of themselves. And that's certainly been the case for me this weekend. I stand or sit here incredibly proud of the young people that I've hung out with this weekend, who have just been amazing, because they've a very few rules, very little structure, and actually what they have done is work out quite quickly how they've needed to be and what's going to work and what's not going to work. And actually the hardest thing for most people is whether you've got the patience or whether you have the courage to allow it to work out. Most people intervene too soon. We talk about letting people make their own mistakes as long as they don't do it. Let them make their mistakes. Less is definitely more. And so my challenge to you tomorrow is just take a moment when you think you should intervene. As long as you're not stopping someone's impending doom. But just say less. Maybe don't enforce a rule. Maybe notice what happens and actually how quickly it works out over a window of time, and just notice how quickly it can be okay, because less is definitely more. Very much so. See you day 76, and soon it will be done.